What's happening? What's going on?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Yelena? Oh my God, you're back.
Who's that, Mommy?
It's okay, sweetie. She's an old friend.
Okay, stop. Anna, I was in there for 5 seconds. I come out and I've lost 5 years of my life. Please.
I'm sorry, Yelena. I was just trying to help you.
No, I thank you. Yeah. I need to find Natasha. Can you help me find Natasha? I need to tell her I'm okay.
All right, people. This is episode 2 of Black Popcorn. You know, we beat y'all over the head with episode 1. Now we here with episode 2, and we're gonna be talking about the Thunderbolts.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
the latest Marvel movie, man. Um, uh, Ma, well, why don't you kind of introduce the audience to the Thunderbolts, man? Because the comics is a little bit different than the MCU, man. You want to give us a little history lesson, bro?
Yeah, I can do that for you. The comics it is slightly different than the movies, but the Thunderbolts they made their first appearance in the Incredible Hulk issue number 449 in 1997. I remember, and the Thunderbolts are special to me because that issue came out in January '97, and I turned 10 years old that month. So
Wow.
the Thunderbolts' first appearance in the comics really stick out to me, and they was actually a team formed by Burn Zemo.
Yep.
So he took a whole bunch of villains and made them superheroes. Because what had happened was they were doing an onslaught. That's a whole nother episode right there. Onslaught. So it took a lot of motherfuckers to try to fight Onslaught, right? So the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, they disappeared. Everybody thought they was dead.
Yeah.
So Burn Zemo was like, shit, let me go ahead and bring these villains up, make them heroes. I'm going to call them the Thunderbolts. And then they got their own comic the next year, 98, and it's been the Thunderbolts ever since. And some of the key members from the OG Thunderbolts, Songbird, Fixer, Moonstar, Hawkeye, Beetle, Atlas, who was Giant Man, Hank Pym. Those are some of the OG members. And it's been different variations of teams of Thunderbolts in the comics too.
Yeah, like that lineup, right? I think this is the lineup that we see in the MCU. Well, the closest that they got in the MCU right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do something for some of the people that don't know, that may be fans but still don't know? Can you tell us which came out first, the Thunderbolts or the Suicide Squad? Because lately, in recent years, Thunderbolts have been heavily compared to DC's Suicide Squad. Yeah, I think the Thunderbolts made their first appearance first because Born Zemo, his group was the Masters of Evil. Remember the Masters of Evil? They go way back to Avengers issue number 6 back in like 1964. So that's how far back the Masters of Evil go. And then the Masters of Evil, they turned to the Thunderbolts later on. So technically, the Thunderbolts came out first. I think made the comparison because you got a group of bad guys posing as heroes, or you got a group of anti-heroes posing as heroes. I think that's where the comparison comes in there. And I guess maybe not the comic iteration, but when we get into the movie now, the movie version of them,
both the Thunderbolts is a government weapon, so to speak, just like the Suicide Squad is. You feel me? Shadow Ops, black ops shit. One last question. Um, so was the Dark Avengers a spinoff of the Thunderbolts? Because I know Norman Osborn started the Dark Avengers, but was that a spinoff of the Thunderbolts, or is that two completely separate groups?
The Dark Avengers really was the Thunderbolts in a way because Norman Osborn, he became the director, the head director, and he already had his team anyway. So he made Venom Spider-Man. He made Moonstar, Miss Marvel. He made Bullseye, Hawkeye. You know what I'm saying? So he just turned people over and called them the Thunderbolts.
What was it? Dakin? I think Wolverine's son. That was the new Wolverine too.
Yeah, Dakin. He just made him Wolverine. Yeah.
Okay. Look, we're just going to school right now. I'll say West right now. I'm at the fence right now. I'm learning something right now.
And Norman Osborn, he became the was he the Iron Patriot?
Yeah, Iron Patriot.
He was that version of Iron Man, and that was Norman Osborn version of the Thunderbolts.
Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Dark Avengers right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so the audience can get a visual of what we're talking about.
Yep. That's just another version of the Thunderbolts, the most recent version. That version debuted after Civil War. That was 2007, 2008.
All right. So we got a little history lesson for y'all. You know, y'all want to pick up the comics and dig a little deeper if you like the movie. But let's get into this film right here, man. This Thunderbolts, man. The follow up to Captain America: Brave New World. This movie had a budget of $180 million and it grossed 371 mil. So I mean, a lot of people would consider this movie a flop. Like they would say, "Oh, it didn't do the numbers like it's supposed to do. It's a Marvel film." But I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was a great film.
Me as well. I really liked it.
Yeah,
that's crazy. People talk about it as a flop.
Yeah, I mean, in this era, if you're not doing $1 billion or close to $1 billion, the movie failed. It was it was a flop. But like I feel like that's a lot of pressure to put on a movie if it's not doing what like a Black Panther can do. Black Panther did $1 billion.
I mean, but there's a reason why Black Panther did $1 billion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can understand why it did. Yeah.
Yeah, the black dollar is very powerful. Everybody wants to go see it. We made it our business to go and see it. It became a cultural thing. So yeah.
And on top of that, it took way more money to make Black Panther than Thunderbolts anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
All the special effects and shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too many special effects in Thunderbolts, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. And Black Panther came out in a different phase, a different era when Marvel was banging out classics, man. It was pumping out hit after hit. It was like the bad boy era.
So no Diddy, bad boy era.
Yeah, facts.
So it's funny you say that because when I watched the Thunderbolts, I actually got like maybe a nostalgic feeling, if you will, about like a phase 1, phase 2 type movie, because the comedy, it was a lot of comedy. Everybody gelled very well together. Now, granted, it wasn't like a phase one build up to where everybody got their own movie or maybe even two movies before the big, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But even when you take that out, I feel like most of the characters was fleshed out. You feel me? I guess we could have got more of Ghost. You feel me? But if you seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know what Ghost came from. You feel me? You know her story. Now, if you didn't, okay, you feel me? You might not get that much about her. So, but for the most part, it really did give me that old MCU where it's decent amount of action. You feel me? It wasn't a lot of action, but a decent amount of action. The nice comedy, everybody going, mixing well, gelling well together. And we did get a flesh out of certain characters like John Walker, Elena, Bob and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I want to say for the audience, um, if you didn't see Black Widow, uh, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Black Widow, if you didn't see those movies, if you jump it straight into this film, you might be a little lost because you're gonna be like, who are all these different characters?
You
Now
definitely gonna be lost.
you're
Definitely
gonna
gonna be
be
lost.
Yeah. I'll
You
say
really don't get too much of a backstory. You really got to come into this movie knowing these.
yeah, I would say at least be familiar with Black Widow because if you've seen Black Widow, you're already gonna know who Red Guardian is. You're already gonna know who Yelena is. You're already gonna know who else?
And
Um
John Walker, right?
Walker came in the Falcon and Winter
Oh,
Soldier.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and Taskmaster. Taskmaster was in Black
Black
Widow.
Widow.
So at least if you've seen that, at least you have some reference to who these characters are.
Yeah.
And I want to say, the way the movie opened up, it was interesting. We open up with Yelena. She's at a point in her life where she's kind of bored. She's kind of like, she's kind of just going through the motions of doing the assassination. She's like, you know, what's the
I'm
point
glad
of all this?
right.
She
I'll say
seems so depressed.
Yeah.
I'll say
I'm glad you
with
brought
me.
that up.
I'll say with me. Her first mission, like you know what I'm saying, Joe. Like you said, it like to me, like she comes to the crossroads of saying, "Hey, this is my last mission. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing this no more. I'm retiring."
hmm And it kind of like sets up. You know why this opening scene is so powerful? It kind of sets up the theme of this whole movie.
Okay.
Like we get into this idea of depression. We get these themes of isolation, feeling alone, because right, even after the whole action sequence that happens in the beginning, which was pretty dope. I like
Yeah.
it. She goes to see her father, the Red Guardian,
Mm-hmm.
and you can kind of tell that there's been some distance between them. She said, "Man, that's been a year. I haven't really, I haven't seen you, man. What's been going on?" And it's a little bit of isolation on her end. She's like, "Man, even my own pops is like, I don't even really have any family."
Right. Yeah.
The thing about that is, like,
So
going back a little bit, it's interesting. I think it's real cool that you was like the opening of the movie because you were absolutely right. I believe you're absolutely right. The opening of the movie really sets the tone for the entire movie and what I think is the themes of the movie. And then not just the opening scene and like you said, her going through the motions and everything, but if I'm correct, I think the very first line in the movie is something's wrong with me, right?
hmm
yeah,
wrong with me. It's like the very first, so she knows it, right? What Yelena is going through, is mostly identified, and I'm not no psychiatrist or anything, y'all. Like for real, this is pretty much, from what I read and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it looks like it's like a functional depression. A lot of people don't know about functional depression. And just like y'all was saying, she going through the motions, very effective, very efficient, right? She's still getting the job done and stuff like that, but she's just going through the motions. And that is one of the main symptoms of functional depression, is where you can get up, you can go to work, you can handle your business, you can do everything, but at the same time, it means nothing to you. It's formulaic. It's just it's like you're stuck in a rut,
Mhm.
and I think that was a pretty good display of functional depression. And like you said, when she go to see her pops, Ray Guardian, he's also going through a depression, right? Because like you were saying, she's like, yeah, well, here, how you doing? I still feel alone and stuff, because he's going through his own thing. He, to me, like Red Guardian is hilarious. Like for real, he's
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters in there. But he struggles with the depression of the past and
The glory days.
the glory days, and then
Mhm.
in some forms, from some shape and form, illusions of grandeur, right? So his identity is really, I mean, like what he's battling with is really like relevancy, right? Relevancy versus grandeur and illusion. And
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
struggling with that. He's still, even in Black Widow, he struggled with that. And now we see in the Thunderbolts that he still hasn't gotten over that. So I think that plays a huge part, because it's like she went to him for help, right? And he can't even see it because he going through his own shit. They can't help each other. Those two right there can't help each other
Mhm.
right now. You feel
Yeah.
me?
And to lay on the and to lay on in the movie. I'm not trying to get ahead of the movie or nothing, but we'll talk about it later on.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's interesting?
We'll go real back on Yelena. Some of the people who really not familiar with her, you can find her first appearance in Humans #5, like back in like 1998 or 99. She was supposed to be the second iteration of Black Widow. Once the original Widow left and with the shield, they wanted a new one, so they is accurate about that part. But Red Guardian, he was Black Widow love interest. He wasn't Yelena's father in the comics, but I just had
Yeah.
to throw that out real quick.
Yeah, and it's funny how the MCU changes certain things, and I actually like the whole father aspect,
Yeah.
him being a
Cool.
father figure in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's different from the comics, but this is a change that I agree with. I actually like this change.
Going back to that, now I don't know how to feel about this. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, right? But you in Black Widow, you see this family that Natasha had, right? Even though it was fake or whatever, we come to find out it was literally real to all of them, not just her, not just Selena, but you feel me, her mother and her pops and everything. It was real to all of them. So she does have this family, but then, like, in earlier Avengers movies and stuff like this, one of her key things was she had nobody but Clint, but Hawkeye, and before him, she had nobody. So I'm like, damn, like, why wasn't this hinted at? Like, because but maybe
Yeah,
I'm nitpicking, but
yeah, but they when they making these movies, they try to plan as far
yeah,
out as they
yeah.
can, but
Right.
you know, I even with Black, I don't think she should have died. In my opinion,
I don't think she should have
why
died either.
why kill her
Yeah,
off? She's a
I
great
don't think she should
character,
have died. Yeah, she was. Yeah, definitely, she shouldn't have died.
but
Yeah, man, they couldn't have Natasha and Yelena running around at the same time, so they had to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
In the comic books, Black Widow just goddamn. She just went to go work for Shield. She didn't die. You know what I'm saying? So
But you
you
know,
know how the movies do.
yeah.
which for
But
Yelena's character in the MCU, especially in this movie, it's I guess it works out that she passed. You know that what's the name that Natasha going because now you have in this movie you got Yelena struggling with the like legacy, right? Legacy versus like I guess forging her own or finding out who she is. You
mhm,
know, outside of all of this stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
And just to circle back to Red Guardian and Yelena, I look at them as two ships passing each other in the night.
Yep.
Because you know why? Because Yelena is at a point at that point in the movie, she's thinking of, damn, I kind of want to get out the game. I'm kind of getting bored of assassination.
Yeah. And
Red Guardian,
he
yeah,
lived for this.
yeah.
He can't wait to get back in the
He
game.
want to get back in the
Right. He
game.
want to get back in
Yeah,
the
bro.
game.
Yeah.
They missing each other right there. He's like,
Yeah.
It could
Right.
have
I was
been
saying
a Avenger.
because he kind of got mad at her a little bit. He kind of got mad at her like, "Yeah, man, hey, you know what? I call up the boss, you know what I'm saying, Joe, and hey, I get on board with this already, you know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah.
yeah, he like tag me in. You coming
Right,
out
Yeah.
the
yeah,
game?
right,
Put
yeah.
me in the game. I'm ready to suit up.
And but that's the thing.
Unfortunately, America.
But that's the thing too. Like Yelena never really had a choice in this. She was literally from a. You know they never do. I don't think they don't got no choice in it. You feel me?
Yeah, they was bred from children
Yeah.
to do this thing. So um
Yeah.
Once she break out of it and there's an exit, which you know she helped provide it for all of them. Now it's like, oh, I got a choice. You know,
mhm.
so that's
and
cool.
then
She one of my favorite characters.
and then after they meet up, right? Red Guardian and Yelena, I think we jump to um do we jump to the part where they get to uh
Yeah.
Washington DC, where we get to the CIA?
Yeah,
Who's the chick
I
that
think that's what
plays
that, yeah, I say because
That's
that chick from
um
Seinfeld? What's her name again? Let me look it
um
up.
I always say
Valentina Fontaine.
yeah, Valentina. I always say Lane, but Valentina
Valentine,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll say because
Valentina Contessa, some shit like that.
hmm
Um, yeah,
Now, yeah, now she's on the hot seat because now they're looking into her all these secret projects she got going on, and she's trying to put on a strong front, but she's shaking in her boots, man. What's that right there, bro?
oh,
Yeah.
look, you got
Oh,
okay.
oh,
for those
okay.
who don't know, Jamal is a huge fan of Sonic. Like he's a huge fan.
Yes, sir.
Elaine, the actress name is Julia Dreyfus, but that's Elaine from Seinfeld.
Okay.
So with Valentina, right? She definitely symbolizes complete government manipulation, right?
Yeah.
Government manipulation, like all the way. Um, she is she's the shady. She is the shady side, the other side of the coin in the MCU of Nick Fury, right?
His
She
opposite. Yep.
Yeah, she uses people to control them, not to help them, not to bring out the best in them, not to save the world per se, to save the world, but it's really like I'm the one who did this. You feel me? You know, so like, and yeah, that's the sum up. That's my sum up of her. She's the opposite. She's the negative of Nick Fury.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
And
think I think I think she sent them on a mission for them not to come home. That's what I think about it.
I
it
thought the same
definitely
thing too. I
was.
thought the same
Yeah,
thing
that's
too.
exactly what it was. All right, so she's on trial, right? And then they call her bluff. So you don't got no problem. I'm innocent. I'm innocent of this. I'm only protecting the country. Blase, blase. We already know what it is, right? So, boom, they call her bluff. So you don't mind us investigating this? You don't mind us investigating that? Yeah, no, go ahead. Immediately cut to her like, oh shit.
Exactly.
You feel
She's
me?
scrambling to
Bruh.
delete shit. She like,
The
hurry
Century
up,
program, the Century
burning
program.
file.
A lot of this stuff in the MCU always come back to that super serum. It was a version of the super serum, and they was using people right to for the Century program to make their own superheroes. So she
Yeah.
kind of did all of that, and then when you think about it, everybody that was contracted to her, from Yelena to John Walker, U.S. agent, to Ghost to Taskmaster, they all knew about that program. So y'all gotta go too.
Right,
Hmm.
yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
had some connection to it,
Or
you
some
know.
some type of connection to
Yeah,
it. Yeah. You know, so
and-
y'all gotta go too.
exactly. And one thing about Valentina, if y'all did y'all ever watch Invincible or read the comics?
Of course, I didn't read the comics as much, but I definitely watched the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about what's his name?
Yeah, who's the old dude?
Shit.
Can't remember his name, man.
Oh
He
my
got the
God.
scar. He got the scar.
Yeah, what's his name
Oh, with
again,
an
man?
E, I think.
Well, somebody in the comments
Cecil,
will let us.
Cecil, Cecil. It's Cecil.
Cecil, yeah. I
Cecil.
want to say that she and him are basically similar. Like they kind of mirror each other. They
Amanda
want
Waller from DC. Same
mhm.
thing.
They all these characters,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they all want to save the world, but they gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I don't mind cracking a few eggs as long as everybody is saved. That's
Yeah.
what matters, you know. And
Those are the hard calls that
yeah,
unfortunately some heroes
somebody
refuse
got
to
to make it.
acknowledge or take. It
Hmm.
goes back to the Batman debate, right? With Joker. How many lives would you have saved if you just off Joker?
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
true, true.
yeah. And the funny part is by her sending, all these mercenaries, anti-heroes to their death, she really,
Brought them together.
yeah, she really brought them together and kind of caused her own downfall by
Yeah.
doing that.
Which did a downfall.
I just wanted to say real quick, Valentina.
Hmm.
I just wanted to tell the people in the audience real quick, Valentina, she is a real person from the comics. She go way back.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually a love interest for Nick Fury in the comic books. And she
Oh,
was a trader. She would work for Shield, work for Hydra, work for Shield, work for Hydra. So they got her kind of right in the MCU. She a smart little trader. But she made her debut on Strange Tales back in 1967.
Damn, she a
So
Oh,
she
old
go,
school OG.
yeah. So Valentino Fontaine go way, way back.
Damn. You think hey Mar, you think they're gonna explore that in the future when
they
they
should.
get
They
Nick
should.
Fury back into the picture?
Yeah, I'm about to say, what the fuck Nick Fury doing anyway? I forgot.
shit.
Oh
Nick Fury
man.
been off world last we seen him in
Man.
Invasion, Secret Invasion.
And that look, Secret of It, that shit was trash, man.
Yeah, that shit was weak.
I was like, what the hell y'all doing, man?
They fucked that up, man.
Damn.
Yeah, they messed
But
that up.
hopefully Doomsday fixes all these mistakes. It's basically gonna be a nice hard reboot. It's just gonna reset everything. So hopefully they can fix this. But we
Yeah.
get to the point now where Yelena gets a call. She gets, she's like, oh, you Valentina tells her, look, you went out of the game, just do this last mission for me. I got you. And she's like, all right, just gotta go ahead, kill a couple people, and I'm out. And she's like, yeah, that's it.
Hey yo,
So
one thing, and I ain't gonna stay on it too long, but sometimes you know what I don't like in movies in general. Sometimes is the obvious tropes. It's like really the one last mission trope.
Yeah,
You could have just sent on the mission. Everybody knows one last mission.
don't
It's
be the
really,
last mission.
you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be the last mission, but they're definitely getting betrayed.
yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know?
You know, um, and then she bumps into who she bumps into? So Taskmaster first. Was it Taskmaster she bumped
She was sent
into?
to kill. She
I
was
bet
sent to kill.
she ran to what's name first.
Ghost? Was it Ghost?
She was sent to kill Ghost.
Okay.
I'll say Ghost came in. Ghost that came in third. I'll say I think it was the Captain America guy.
U.S. agent.
Yeah, USA came in
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, USA came in first.
Yeah, U.S. agent came in first. This guy, right?
John Wall. And I gotta say, man, I wasn't feeling his character in the Captain and the Winter Soldier, but he brought me around in this movie.
See,
I
and
was kind of, I'm like, okay,
it's
I'm
so
gonna leave y'all with the fun fact for the week, real quick. The guy who played John Walker, his name is Wyatt Russell.
Russell.
Mhm,
Yeah,
White
Y'all
Russell.
know he's the son of Kurt Russell. Y'all know Kurt Russell, the actor?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
hey,
he's Kurt
Ego
Russell's
in
son.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Actually, Kurt Russell
Yeah,
played Ego in Volume 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he looks a lot like his pops,
yeah, he do, yo.
man.
But the
And
funny thing about John Walker, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say, um, the way he fights with the pistol and the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, I love it, man. It's just like the they he got that character nailed down, man. It and it's kind of it's kind of a different approach because I know they're all technically super soldiers, most of the Thunderbolts, but
Yeah,
it kind of makes him stand out. It's like, okay, you're not just another Captain America clone. You got your own identity now.
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
U.S. agent.
I
hmm
would say when when I first got introduced to him to U.S. agent, I I didn't like him. I didn't like him in the beginning. I'll say I felt that he was a dick in the beginning of the movie. He was a little arrogant prick. Let me put it that way. He was arrogant prick to me.
That
And
I think
then, like you said, later on in the movie, Joe kind of got a little. Okay, okay. Now I'm with you a little bit. Now I'm on your side a little bit. Okay.
Out of all of the characters in the movie, John Walker might be the closest to his comic book counterpart.
hmm
yeah, he definitely is. Because
Yep.
people in the comments might know John Walker, U.S. agent. He made his debut in Captain America issue 323 in November of 1986, the week before Thanksgiving. He was actually the super patriot, a little off-brand hero. He was
Yep.
hating on Cap on the low. Still that same old arrogant prick. And Captain America, he didn't want to go with the government, so he resigned, gave the shield up. So the government like, all right, we're gonna need this motherfucker, Captain America. But he started wilding. Cap came back. They took the shield off him, but they just made him the U.S. agent. So
Yep.
it's they got it kind of accurate to the movies.
Yep. So like what I like about John Walker was because like he was hated in Captain America Winter Soldier. He was hated. Everybody hated him over it, which was cool because he was supposed to be hated. Like you said, he was an asshole, he was a jerk. But the one thing that I do get from him was it's so funny because a lot of people ask, oh, why did Sam get the shield? Why did Sam get the shield? Why did Sam get the shield? Sam was a good man. John Walker was a good soldier. He did whatever he was told. You feel me? Like on some real shit. And he believed everything that he did was the right thing. It was the right thing to do. You feel me? Even if it was morally fucked up. You know? So I always like that. That's a nice little, why did Sam get it? Why it ended up with John Walker and look what happened. But on his downfall, You can see in the movie because you know in the flashback a little bit later on down in the movie, he going through some things. You know, so it's like he tried to live up to something because anybody trying to come after Steve Rogers, it's going to be a problem. I don't care who you are. Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes, John Walker. It's going to be hard to come after a man like Steve Rogers. You know, so
Mhm.
wrestle with that. Then he fucked it up. But now he able to play, like you said. Now he able to play by his own rules. He coming into his own. He good. He don't have nothing to live up to now. He could beat him. You feel me? So it
Exactly.
really worked out well. His whole character like really fleshed out well, and he's another, you know, symbol of somebody that's going through some shit as well. You feel me? But that gets later down, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, all these characters are in their own way either going through some sort of depression, some sort
Yeah,
of something that's holding them back from connecting. If you
because
notice,
Yeah.
every character in this movie, all the members of the team have problems really connecting to other people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, all of their past. You feel me? This is the MCU version, of course, but this is the Thunderbolts. These are the anti-heroes. These are the guys that you feel me? Like they come from a dark past. They did messed up shit. You feel me? Yelena was a Black Widow. It wasn't her fault, but she still got the guilt of it. You feel me? You
Yeah.
got Ghost, who since she was a child, you feel me, had to do stuff just to stay alive and not feel pain. You feel me? Taskmaster, programmed by her goddamn pops to kill, become an assassin. You know, John Walker, we already know what he went through. You feel me? He got blood on Captain America's shield. He killed somebody with Captain America's shield in cold blood. You feel me?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know what Bucky went through.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
You feel me? We talked about Red Guardian and him struggling with his past glory and trying to live up to those glory days and being stuck in the nostalgia and that era and trying to fight with relevancy and self-worth and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
they all are coming from something. And with them, it's like my brother, it's like my brother S. Dot used to tell me, right? Everything ain't black and white. And with them, they operate within that gray area. They
Yeah.
can operate within that gray area if they have to, because they come from something different than the Avengers, right?
We all fight
Yeah.
for common cause. We all come together.
Yeah. These are, I want to say these like dysfunctional Avengers. These are
Yeah. Yeah.
these are like if real people with real ish going on,
These the bad kids in the class,
bad
yo.
kids in
Right.
class who
Yeah.
happen to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
In the
super
back of the, you
abilities.
feel me? At the back of the bus, at the back of the class.
Hmm.
So they in the mountain with a
The rejects.
cafeteria, you know.
Yeah. But even when they all met up, and look, let's touch on this, man. That fight sequence when they all met up for the first
Yeah,
time, that shit
Oh
was
yeah.
epic.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
yeah, for real.
That shit was dope.
But then I like the I like the way Hannah introduced Bob into the I like the way Hannah introduced Bob into the whole sequence too, cause he popped.
Hmm.
Cause I was kind of wondering throughout the whole thing. I was kind of wondering like, okay, where the hell he come from? And then like I watched it the first time, then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, okay, I see now, okay, because the U.S. agent had saw the casket that it came out of, and like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, it was a freak accident how he was able because he was gonna get destroyed.
yeah,
Yeah,
Robert, Bob.
yeah,
He was up for destruction. And during the whole fight, like you said, U.S. agent, he threw the shield, opened his casket, his chamber, what was
because
holding him, and he
they
got
thought he was
released.
dead. At least the government thought he was dead. They thought he
Yeah,
was
they
alive. Those experiments.
hmm
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the actor who played him, Lewis Pullman did a great job, man. Nailed it.
Oh, dude came out. Who are you? I'm Bob. Like, you feel me?
Yeah,
Right.
just not a
Everybody said
care in the
Bob,
world.
Bob.
You know, like, that's, just bring that normalcy back. You feel me? That simplicity back, and like, yo, I'm just Bob and stuff like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just a regular at first, right? He's just they don't know who he really is. They
Right.
just think how'd you get here? You just a regular guy.
Real quick. The Sentry in Marvel Comics. Jamal will probably be able to tell y'all what year, but what's so cool about this dude is that he so powerful and he was so afraid of his other personality that he literally erased the minds of everybody, even himself, of his existence. Like,
Mhm.
so for a long time, it was like a long time they wrote, like it was a long time. Nobody ever knew about the Sentry, never knew he existed, and he was a homeless dude. But in the actual world, suffers from multiple personality disorder,
Mhm.
schizophrenia, and bipolar and stuff like that, and severe depression. He's an addict. Bob is an addict, right? So then you got the Sentry, who is pretty much all powerful, legit all powerful. Jamal can attest to that. I'm sure of it. Dude
He's
is
up there.
like he's a real beast on some real shit. But
Mhm.
then you got the other personality, which is the
The
Void,
void. Yep.
who is just as powerful and even probably more powerful than the Sentry and just as dangerous. So it's like that really shows, whether it's the comic or even the MCU, it shows how dangerous the government is doing these experiments and tests and stuff like this, and you don't really know what's really going on because giving some that's like I think it's Legion, right? What is it, Professor X son, somebody's son or something like that? I'm not sure, but he got multiple personality disorder, and every single one of his personalities got their own mutant power.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just crazy how that goes.
And
Yeah.
it's I think it's pretty brave. I'm gonna say risk. It's real risky to kind of have someone with that, all those mental disorders.
And it's actually, excuse me, let me correct myself. It's
Mhm.
dissociative identity disorder. I'm sorry, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, and dealing with all this depression to have that amount of power,
Yeah.
and I feel he's an interesting character because it's like you have somebody who surpasses even the Thor, even probably Thanos,
Mhm.
someone with that level of power, but has such a unstable mind that you don't know what's going to happen. Anything could trigger him, anything could set him off, and you really don't know if you're going to get the Sentry or you're going to get the Void. So I
What's
think it's
even more,
interesting for
more
Marvel
dangerous,
to take that risk.
what's even more dangerous that he don't even know what's going to set it
Yeah.
off. He don't even know what's going to trigger it. And the funny, not funny, actually nothing funny about it, but it's like once we get to the backstory of Bob and stuff like that, when you see what created all of this, issues that he had and that he's been dealing with, it's crazy. And it's like I don't think people really having a true understanding, or they just don't care on the effect on how you treat people, even from when they're children and on up. You feel me? Like that's a major impact on their psyche. For real.
Yeah.
And the movie shows that. Like Bob really shows that, you know.
And
Yeah.
his depression is so severe that even Yelena notices it. She's like, I know I'm going through some shit, but what's going on with you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you got some real shit going on.
Right.
It's kind of hinted that there's something different about this guy. Like, Like he really going through some stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we get to the part now where they all find out they all been set up by Valentina. They all find, wait, hold up. The room is about to explode. Like, what's going on here? Like
So there's two things in this scene that the internet wild out on. And I kind of get it. I ain't really wild out too much, but I do get it. So you put it as a timer, right?
Yeah.
And then the power source is inside the room. I get it. It got to be a plot. You feel me? It got to be a movie and stuff like that. But then at the same time, it's like, damn, you could at least did one of those. Probably do the timer, maybe have somebody, I don't know, escape or whatever. I don't know, but that was crazy.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they really thought that scene out. I don't know if they would like. I mean, they could have did it a little different. They could have been like, instead of having it on a timer, maybe like, as soon as they try to get to the doors, it sets off the explosion. And they could have did anything.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a plot.
Yes.
If it was very easy, we'll have no movie.
Yeah, that's why I be trying to think, but at the same time, I couldn't ignore that when people were saying that. I was like, damn, that is kind of true. Like,
but would have been cool though if it did play out like that. Let's say they all try to make a run for the door, right? And it went off, and then in that moment, the sentry kicked in. Like it was almost accidental, and he kind of saved everybody in that moment. That would have been.
That's a good plot twist right there.
I
That's a
mean,
good plot twist. Yeah.
I mean, because he did reveal his powers like right after, right? When he was in. Yeah. They could even kept that scene.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. So now that
scene real quick. I'm sorry. I apologize, but y'all see how Bob was just like, yeah, y'all go ahead. He knew.
Yeah. He wanted to stay.
He didn't know that he was bulletproof. Like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a heroic stand. I'm doing this for my friends. It was more like you know what? I can probably do this and help y'all at the same time. So fuck it.
Yeah.
He knew it was up.
You think he knew what was up? I don't know. I don't think he expected to survive that.
But that's why he was like, y'all go ahead and go.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at that point in the movie, it's a little ambiguous. It's like, I mean, I couldn't really tell if he knew that he could do that or if he was just like, look, man, I don't care if I live or die. I don't want to see y'all die. I'll take the hit. I didn't know.
Yeah, the way bro was talking from the jump. You feel me?
I'm saying, but also too, what I noticed in this movie was that Bob, like we all been saying, Bob kind of like, Bob was kind of like, okay, I don't know what I got really, but you know what I'm saying, Joe, hey, let me stay here, you know what I'm saying, Joe, let me deal with the consequences. You guys going, you know what I'm saying, Joe, y'all go and do y'all thing, y'all leave, you know what I'm saying, Joe, I'm gonna stay here. But then, like, once they got out of the jam, and they was outside, and how I want to say it, I want to
when they tried to load them bullets into him.
Yeah.
Let the clip off.
Right. I'll say
that man, yo.
They was and they wasn't shooting no pistols, and they had big bullets,
No,
you
no,
know.
no, no.
Now, bro, look at them though when he got up. You see how he looked at them though?
Dude, man, and he took off. Yo, the thing about it, he is so fast, man. Like I don't
Sentry,
think we
man.
ever seen this level of speed in the
Yeah.
MCU. You know,
Hey,
like
yo,
just moving that fast.
the Sentry has 9 super strength and speed. Like there's pretty much no limit to it. Flight, energy projection, psychic powers, all of that stuff. Like, dude is a
Just
true beast. They say he got the power of a million exploding suns or some shit like that.
Damn, son.
yeah, you know, it's
So,
just insane what he could do. And
and since he made his debut in his own comic series, The Century, issue #1 back in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Back in September of
and
2000.
and wait, didn't Marvel retcon it to where, like, I think you mentioned that earlier, John, that he's been around a long time, but he
Yeah,
just erased
yeah. They just
everyone's memory of him.
yeah, he erased the memory, yeah, of his existence, even within himself, because he feared the void. The void is pretty much a manifestation of his own self-loathing, depression, and everything. His addiction, all of that stuff. So
Mhm. And then and then we get to a part where we got Yelena, we got US agent, and we got Ghost making their getaway, and they see him falling out of the sky. Like they's like,
yeah,
yo, this dude got superpowers,
yeah,
you know. They like, oh, this, you know what I mean? And then uh Valentina, she wants him back now. She's like, oh, I can do something with this guy. I thought it was a failure. I didn't even know what we had.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I think this is the part where we meet up with the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
yeah,
Here go
And I
my
like
part. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Here go my
and
damn now.
I like his introduction
Yeah, I do too.
to
I
the
did too.
team, because you know why? Because he brings he brings that lightheartedness to
yeah,
the movie, man. He cheers everybody up. He says, "Look, man,
yeah.
we a team. Why you
Cheer
guys
everybody
down in the
on.
dump?"
Yep.
All right. I'll take.
But remember, he's the one that wants this the most,
Yeah,
right? Nobody else really want to be bothered when you think about it. For
Right.
the most part, a lot of them, everybody don't be. He like, yeah, like this is my chance. This is my chance right here. You know.
Now, his motivation could be selfish. He could look, man. Let's just be a team. We could be the new Avengers. We're the Thunderbolts.
Hey,
That could be a little bit the
you know
The
what
reason.
though?
Thunderbolts.
I I like the little backstory. I like the backstory that they gave the reason why he wanted the Thunderbolts. And
Oh,
every time he said he told the story, Joe, I'm sitting there cracking up laughing.
yeah. The
Yeah.
soccer. Right?
Yeah,
The MCU Red Guardian, I kind of like this one because, like you said, he do bring the comedic humor to the movie and shit. So I do like this version of the Red Guardian, but the real version of the Red Guardian, he debuted the same year as Valentina, all the way back in 1967, Avengers issue #43. He was actually a test pilot. And but he ain't got no super soldier serum. He was a skilled fighter. He was beating the shit out of Hawkeye though. He was going hands up with Captain America. But yeah, in the books, he was just a test pilot, and he had like a frisbee, like a little joint you had on your belt. You take it
Yeah.
off, and it wasn't a shield like Cap. It was like a
Yep.
disc. You know what I'm saying?
So what year did he debut as the Russian equivalent to Captain America in the comics? You know more?
1967.
67. Okay.
Yeah.
Um I haven't read that much Red Guardian. Is he the same in the comics? Like, is he like, comedic, or is he more like a serious
Nah,
character?
nah, it's definitely not like that in the comics. It's actually been more than one variation of the Red Guardian. It was like 3 or 4 of them, but the one we see in the MCU was the first one that came out. He won't funny.
Alexi.
He'll beat your ass. He was beating the shit out of Hawkeye. Shit out of Hawkeye. Smack
Hey, yo,
Hawkeye.
Damn.
there's a fan theory with Red Guardian. And it's that like so in Widow, he talked about how he fought Captain America, right? But everybody say Cap was still in the ice around the time that he was what's his name? A lot of people say that the Captain America that he probably fought was Isaiah.
Isaiah. Okay.
Isaiah, yep.
Maybe we can get that run back, man.
Oh, that's
Right,
why. Oh,
Get that
that's
run back.
just thinking the same
right.
thing. So I just thinking the same thing.
Fan theory
Let's
right
get
there.
Let's
For
get that
real.
run back. What's up, man? You know what I'm saying? That's a good theory, though. I would
Yeah, I
like
thought so too.
that.
Look,
Look, that'd be funny if they actually met up. In
Yeah.
the
right.
future, they just cross paths and like, yo, what's
I want to see the fight where Isaiah told Bucky that he took damn near his arm with him. Last time they saw they I want to see that fight.
Hmm.
Isaiah Bradley put them grown man paws on the Winter Soldier beat.
Exactly. People sleeping on Isaiah. Isaiah, he got them hands, man. He got them grown hands.
For real.
I got
You
some
know what I'm
grown man
saying?
hands for you on the real.
Is
You want this
Yo,
problem
dude was
here?
confident. Yo, he was confident as hell when he looked at Bucky. Looked Bucky dead in his eye. Was like, yeah, almost took your arm with me too.
You know what I'm saying? But I like when I like this part of the movie. We really get to see the team function.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long after we get Bucky, we get the Winter Soldier. He's a congressman in this movie now at this point. And he links up with them. He thinking that they the bad guys. He like, look, man, I'm about to bring y'all in, man. But they're telling him, nah, man, we've been set up. Your girl Valentina, man, she, we trying to get at her. She the real bad guy.
So it was the line, man, when John Walker's like, "Is that Bucky?" Hey, I don't know why, but the way he delivered that line, it was hilarious, yo. And then you got the Red Guardian over here fanboying.
Yeah. I was saying he tweaked out too hard.
For real.
I like it, man. I just
Yeah,
I like how they all interacted, man. It was so funny. And it felt organic.
Mhm.
It felt like they really just turned the cameras on and said, look, man, just go for
You,
it,
you.
guys.
Hey, man.
They all got good
I
chemistry.
fuck with it because it's more street level type heroes. They actually, I don't want to get too far ahead. They actually was saving people again. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all in space shooting lasers and shit. It was street level motherfuckers saving actual citizens. That's what I miss.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I respect that too,
and
yo.
honestly, oh, go ahead, bro. Amen.
Oh, damn, I think I lost my train of thought real quick. Go ahead.
And I actually think this is where the MCU is headed. I think they're headed to. They're gonna have, like you said, a street level, more earthbound Avengers, and maybe at the main Avengers are gonna be outer verse, so they're gonna be in space. They're gonna be in other worlds.
So real quick, when Daredevil Born Again, which is MCU, right?
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
in the army that was on the last episode of the last season. So who knows? We might get some street, like you said, some street level stuff going on again.
Hmm. And this could lead into West Coast Avengers. We can get more.
I was
We,
thinking.
Yeah, and we can incorporate Luke Cage, Daredevil, a lot of these street guys into the fold. You know what I mean?
One thing, that's what I wanted to real quick. Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes in the MCU. There's a lot of talk, for the most part, about how Bucky is so weak compared to how he was in, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and stuff. I just want to take a chance for anybody who think like that. You have to look at it from this perspective. And the Winter Soldier, that was not Bucky Barnes. That was legitimately the Winter Soldier. And the Winter Soldier fights to his full potential. Almost every strike is a kill strike. Now, once Bucky is back and the program is gone, this is a guy who still have the same abilities and capabilities and reflexes and everything, but you have to remember now this is Bucky Barnes. He's holding back. He's not trying to kill anybody. That's why you see the difference in Winter Soldier and what we have now in Barnes in the MCU. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. And I think let me add on to that. We're at a point where overall the heroes in the MCU are getting more powerful.
Yeah.
It's just the power level is just increasing.
It's scaling.
Yeah, it has to.
It has to rise. I think about Dragon Ball Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their power scale has to rise because the threats are stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
exactly, and I think they introduced Century because look what's coming ahead. You know, we got Doomsday, we got
I'm pretty
a
sure
lot of big threats coming up.
Major part in that Doom thing, for real.
No, oh yeah, definitely. I think so too. Yeah.
Well, look, we already got hints of that Galactus. Galactus is coming in July, and the new Fantastic Four.
Man, they gonna carry the shit out of my boy, man. He gonna be in one movie, bro. He gonna be in a Fantastic Four movie, and that's it. Like Galactus need a whole fucking arc by itself. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean?
That's true though.
Nah, they gonna show some love.
You gave Thanos 2 movies, and you gave him build-ups from, you know what I'm saying, from previous movies. But Galactus gonna be gone in one movie. All right.
Nah, there's multiple Galactuses. You know, they gonna show him some love, man.
I hope they do show some love.
They gonna do that.
They eat worlds only get one movie. Okay.
But now we at the point where we got the whole team together, and now they're on the same page. They going after Valentina. They're like, all right, she gonna get these hands, and then they run into Bob, who now he's a Sentry now. And I think we all know what's gonna happen. You know, come on, man, y'all super soldiers, y'all can fight, but come on, yeah. I mean, what can y'all do against the Sentry?
They couldn't do nothing with him.
No, they couldn't do nothing with him. No.
But they tried. They gave it their best effort, but
I wish they would have gave more time to the build-up of the Century, because it's like, all right, boom, when he Bob, boom, now he fucking with Valentina. You go get some popcorn and come back, now he the Century. Just like that. I wish they had more build-up to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Give him like 10 more minutes at least.
You're right. That conversation between him and Valentina was really rushed because there was really nothing to convince him to do what she wanted, at least for a little while. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Like you said, I'll say after their first interaction with each other, and then she's like, okay, now then so she's like then okay, now it's time to start training.
You saw that hint of his past though.
Yeah.
He's supposed to.
Yeah,
What he
had one scene, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right.
To a non-comic fan, they could be like, "Damn, what the fuck? What's this?"
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, every time that Bob he touches somebody, he triggers a memory
Yeah,
from their
right. I forgot about
past.
that too. I forgot about that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did it with
Yeah.
Yelena, Valentina, and I think Walker. I think he touched Walker.
Yeah,
Um,
Walker, we saw that the motherfucker was contemplating suicide, failed marriage, right?
mhm.
Disgraced.
Yeah.
You know? So that
asshole.
plays into what John Walker was going through. You feel me?
Yeah,
And the depression that he was going through at that time and slump, trying to get out of that shit. Like all of the Thunderbolts really bring. I wish he would have did one with Ghost. We didn't really get too much
Right.
backstory
Right.
on Ghost.
Yeah.
You know, we got a little bit on the characters that you mentioned, but Ghost, we got nothing really.
yeah. I
And it's
think
funny.
she was the least developed out of all the characters in this movie. She was the least explored. And I don't know if they're saving that for another movie, if they're gonna go into her arc a little bit more.
Character, yo, I think she held her own for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The ghost character, they completely flipped that around because the ghost from the comic books is a Iron Man villain. They made their debut in Iron Man like 419, like back in 1987. And the ghost in
yeah,
Iron Man is actually a dude, and he was a tech genius. You know what I'm saying? He
Mm.
had a suit that can phase through walls and the same shit that ghosts do in the movie, but actually this motherfucker was an Iron Man villain.
Okay.
Which
And
version you like better, Ma?
it was a dude. I gotta go with the comic version because, like we were just saying, the character in the MCU not really developed enough yet for me to even have an opinion on it.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
that's a
She
good
came,
point. That's
she came through in the clutch scene. She helped them in the beginning get out from explosion. Then she came back with the truck later on. So she got to.
Yeah, she did. Mhm.
it's
Right.
funny. She been
I
in a
need
she. Oh, go ahead,
I
bro.
need more. I need more. That's all. I just need more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny because we seen her in a movie. She was a villain in another movie, and we seen her in this movie, and we still, like you said, we still don't really know anything about her. Like what's her goals? Like, what does she want to get out of this? Like, this.
Because she seemed to be fixed from the predicament that she had. We don't even know if she still got to like go inside that little pod, right?
Mhm.
Because we
To
know
stabilize
that
her.
in Ant Man and the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, who's played by Michelle Pfeiffer, had gave her some cosmic or the what you call it,
The
something to stabilize her, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But she did say that it wasn't a permanent cure. And then remember when Thanos snapped, they was on their way to go and get some for her and bring it back. Whatever the energy it was that was keeping her stabilized for a lot longer. So we know that they didn't find no cure yet for her. So do she still have to do this? Do she still have to be in that chamber? We don't know. You feel me? Like, can she get out of the tube? We don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
I think she mentioned that, John. I can't remember, bro. I think she mentioned it one time, didn't it?
Yeah.
hmm,
She did.
I feel like they could have dove into her character a little bit more, right?
Right.
It just
Gave us a little right. Gave us a little. Gave us like a little insight on.
For people who hasn't seen the movie.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and mind you, they did cut out some stuff out of this movie. There was some cut scenes floating out there, so maybe they did, but they just decided to cut it. But
Yeah.
we'll wait for a director's version to hit the streaming market. We'll see. So after the fight is over, they basically was like, man, it's a wrap, man. We can't do nothing. and they decide to like just go their separate ways at that point, right?
Yeah.
Um, but and then the Century ends up turning on Valentina. He's like, why am I listening to you if I'm a god? Right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, and
That's
I'm
his
like,
villain.
and I'm like, I love that part, man. I was like, man, you think you can control godlike beings like that? Like, you don't think this dude you think this dude is dumb or something?
Yeah.
He like, look, man, I'm not gonna
So
listen to you. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
it's why Lex Luthor hates Superman so much.
Exactly.
You feel me? You know, at the end of the day, you can't control him. You can't
No.
manipulate him. The threat. Whatever you can't control or manipulate is a threat to you. Especially with those powers. So yeah, like to me though, it really is the classic villain trope. Why do I gotta listen to you? The creation turns on the creator.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
But it was executed for the better part anyway, from what we got. It was executed, like you said, like she talking to him. It's like she talking to him.
Like like an employee.
As she talking, he's just like
Yeah, it's
you
like,
can like what if I say no? You know? Yeah.
exactly. And at this point, I think Bob becomes like unstable, and we start to see the void come out.
Hmm.
And and I like this part of the movie. I like this part because it kind of goes into, you don't really see this a lot, where you have heroes who struggle with a mental uh illness, a mental disability. Like, I have all of these powers, but I'm still going through stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you
You know.
got Moon Knight, who is, Moon Knight is very popular superhero that has multiple personality, mental health disorders and stuff like that. We all know the shit that Batman got going on.
Hmm.
You feel me? Up there. Um, I just think that all of them, every single one of them, go through some type of, whether it's mental health or maybe it's a wrestle with their own religious beliefs or their own morals and philosophies or whatever. But it's always some type of struggle with heroes and especially anti-heroes. And yeah, like they showed it in this movie, like for real, especially with all of them, all of them having something that they're going through.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we ever seen, especially a hero that powerful with
Nah.
such severe depression, such like this could like he's almost isolated within himself. Like,
Hmm.
because when we go into his mind, he's reliving traumas from his childhood, from his abusive father
Well,
to.
let's talk about that real quick.
Mhm.
Before we get to that though, we get to see that because Yelena embraces something, right? She finally embraces something in what she was struggling with, what she was going through.
Mhm.
And I guess, like you saying earlier on, like, damn, I'm gonna do some shit with what you got going on, right?
Right.
Mhm.
That that sympathy, right, allow her to face something because she only did that because she wanted to help Bob. Like Yelena, throughout the whole movie, you could see the two people that Bob got the most connection with is Yelena and John Walker. Yelena's like the big sister. John Walker's like the big brother,
Yeah.
you know. So
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, Bob gonna smash that joint. That's what I thought by the end of the movie.
I did.
I can see
but, yeah, he
it.
might. He might. He just might.
You
But
know,
yeah,
Like Natasha and Bruce, you know what I'm saying?
that was yeah.
but well, just a little side topic. The MCU kind of does that. They kind of throw something out there, like they had that thing with Black Widow and the Hulk, a
Yeah.
little love, little flirtatious love thing, but it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they throw stuff out, but don't really, you know. So I don't know if this is one of them things where they're trying to play with it. Let's see where it goes.
See, with Natasha, that fits her character. 'Cause remember, she played a little something with Steve.
And you know what? In the comic books, Natasha was smashing with the Red Guardian in the comic books.
Right.
Oh,
So
shit.
that
Damn.
kind of goes into her character just to have a little, but I ain't gonna lie, you all right. And like her and Bruce's was just like a couple levels more. You actually did probably think it was going somewhere.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're doing the same thing with Yelena and Bob. Maybe throwing it out there. Let's see what the fans think, or see where it
It might
goes.
be, because those are the two that I feel like he had the closer connections with throughout all of the Thunderbolts, you know?
You know what?
Um,
I saw the same. My fault for cutting you out, but I saw the same thing too. He had the most connection with those two people throughout the whole movie. Well, throughout the majority of the movie.
yeah. Like, so, back to Elena real quick. When she was telling Ray Guardian, like, she pretty much saying, like, I do the job, right? I come home, I drink, I pass out, I wake up, I do the job again. That's it. You feel me? I scroll on my phone. I got nothing going on. Like, no will to do anything. Don't even know what I want to do. I don't have no identity at all, which is perfect portrayal of functional depression. A lot of people go through it. Most people don't even know that they're going through it. But
Yeah,
Mm, that's a
that's
fact.
that's something, that's what that's called, or a form of it or something like that. And she ultimately decides to make a choice to do something, and she willingly walked into the void to go and help out, which brings us to what you were saying, G, about what they was calling them pain rooms,
Hmm.
right?
yeah.
And I
And
guess go
mhm.
ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
Now, pretty much like you were saying about you can see what he went through with his father, and you can see how those issues manifested. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the overall message of this movie is from, like I said, from the beginning to the middle to the end. We're touching on mental health. We're touching on depression, isolation. We're touching on lost connections. And I think
So I think
what
they
this
touch
movie
on
is trying to
PTSD
drive
too.
home is
Say that again, Jamal.
no,
What you say?
I think what this movie is trying to drive home is the importance of of teamwork, of
Yeah,
having a strong support system around you.
You
I
can,
think
yeah.
I think that's what they were trying to drive home with this, with all the messages of mental health and all the different problems everybody's going through. They're
Hmm.
trying to say, look, man, we all going through some shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But we can't do it on our own.
And it's
But
also
together we can do it.
it, it's also okay to admit that you might be going through something up here. You know, it's a real stigma. For real, when people hear mental health or you know, um, you've been diagnosed with this or this might be that or whatever, a real defense will go up. I know because shit, my shit used to go up before I
Yeah,
started doing my little, research or watching this and having these discussions, and I got a better understanding of it. But it really is a stigma. It still is a stigma among today, especially among. I'm going to be that guy, especially among black men, for real. Which ironically, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. For real.
Mhm. Yeah,
Symbol of a symbol of mental health awareness is blue, the color blue. So that's just a fun fact. You feel me? Like take care of this, man, because this is real. There's levels of it. Some but nothing is minute or anything, but there is levels of it, you know. Just gotta try to take
and
care of it.
exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because in the black community, this is it's kind of a taboo topic, talking, you know, going to therapists, talking about these issues, and
Hmm.
I mean, in 2025, that's starting to change. A lot of these topics are becoming normalized. It's not such a taboo thing to talk about it.
yeah,
Like the approximately 19.7 of Black and African American adults have experienced a mental health condition within the past year.
Mhm.
Real, around 4.7 have experienced a serious mental illness within shit, damn, the past 3 years or something like that. They say major
Mhm.
depression episode 6.6%. Like suicidal thoughts 5.5% of African Americans as a whole. It's like you said, it's a stigma.
Yeah, you're right, and it's starting to change though. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so look, even
back in the day, niggas would be like, "Oh, you taking off for a mental health day, man? Hell no, bring your ass to work."
exactly.
You'll get ridiculed for saying something like that. Bro, I'm so glad I'm gonna take the awareness and stuff now.
it's a cultural stigma for us. It is symbolized as weakness, and it has been for a while. But like G said, it is changing. There is, a lot of people being more open with it, talking about it and stuff like that. But it really, I do believe that it starts from within us itself. Like, don't knock a nigga if a nigga be like, damn, yo, I'm feeling, you feel me? I ain't
yeah,
feeling too right.
Yes,
Yeah. Knock a nigga,
yeah,
man. Don't knock him, man. On some real
uh,
shit. Listen, just listen. Be real with him.
yeah.
right.
Look, look. As men, it's we have enough on our shoulders, man. We know the burden that we have to perform, we have to do on our day-to-day basis, and it's okay to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
all right to talk to your brother and let that off. And
yeah,
the thing I like about this movie, even someone like with Superman powers is going through it. So
yeah.
even someone like him, he going through his own shit.
Good,
you know?
very good, man. So, they're in the shame room, and so with this shame room thing, right? The void is literally covering like New York City. Can you imagine what if that shit would have went over Daredevil at that time? Can you imagine the
Right.
shit that Daredevil was going through if that shit
oh,
would have went? And like just imagine you chilling in your crib one day, right? You chilling in the crib, you on the bus, you doing whatever, and then within a blink of an eye, the most traumatic thing so far in your life you reliving?
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's
That's
the end of the world.
that's crazy, ain't
Hmm.
yeah,
it?
And the crazy thing, that's not even the full extent of what the void can do.
Yeah,
That was just
exactly.
a little taste of what he could do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's him.
Yeah.
That was him trying to put everybody what he was going through, what he goes through.
Hmm.
I want you to feel
Ulti-
my pain a little bit. I want you to feel my pain.
Ultimately, they all band together, right?
And they had all those obstacles. They was in that last pain room, and they had all them obstacles
Yep.
Yeah,
coming at them just to try to get to Bob, just to
And
because he was so alone, man. He felt like man, I ain't got nobody in my corner, man. But I love that they banded together and said, "Look, man, we got you,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
no matter what."
But they
You
know
know,
they
I
couldn't.
felt
They couldn't beat them straight up. Well,
nah,
power for power, they couldn't
right.
do
right.
Yeah,
that.
It shows
They
the
found
like
it. They found another way.
check out the nuance in that, right? And how so the Avengers beat Loki by force. The Avengers beat Ultron by physical force. The Avengers beat Thanos by physical force. It's not a bad thing, right? But you would expect these anti-heroes, people that have done villainous things, right? And that work within that gray, they're literally chosen because they can work within the gray area. And they don't use any weapons, any powers, any type of, you know,
right. Yeah,
enemy. What naturally defeats the enemies, like you said, teamwork and just being there for somebody. You know,
something as simple as giving somebody else a hug,
as simple
holding their
as
hand,
somebody
like I
going
got you.
through, you know, and some people would probably think that that's corny. Oh man, come on, you know, I mean, with a hug, you know, but you know,
You
but
know,
at the same time, you know, just like you're saying, like sometimes somebody just needs you to be there, you know, when they battling them demons within themselves. Because you know what, talking about beat somebody down that's actually going through something like right.
yeah,
Either either it's got a hold of them on them. Sometimes they don't even know that they're going through. It's so many things that you can't even use force to help somebody. You can't berate them, right? You can't scream at them. You can't. Now you may get, you know, what's going on, whatever the case may be, but you can't beat them with force. It's not about beating them. It's about helping them.
hmm
It's literally about helping them. And sometimes we lose sight of that, you know? It ain't about forcing somebody to get out the slump. It's really about just helping them and being there for them. So I think that's interesting as well.
yeah, and
yeah,
you know the funny thing is like even though the void was powerful, had all this hate in him, something as simple as small connections can break that. A little bit of love goes a long way. You know what I
yeah.
Right.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends. How many of us have them?
Friends.
You know what I'm saying?
I only seen two niggas beat the century in the comics, and that was Thor and Hulk.
And they had to go all out on that one. That wasn't an easy battle.
And for real, the Hulk fight was kind of a stalemate. So Thor was the only nigga that killed him, but the century let him though. That's the only
And that,
reason. You know what I'm
yeah, a lot of times I think the Century usually beats Thor. You know, usually beats a lot of these, um, heroes in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean?
was that dude for real. I wanted to bring up something because we kind of skipped ahead. I feel like we missed something that was important. So, like when y'all was saying they came together, like when Jamal was saying, we got the scene where they're coming together and they're saving civilians, they're saving the people on the street.
Yeah,
Jamal, Jamal hit on that already, but that's very significant. But another thing in that scene, when the people are clapping for him, um, what's the old girl name? Contessa,
Mm-hmm.
right? She will start turning. She see like, oh shit, and she started right from
yeah,
there. She started. Let me see how I can spin this to my advantage.
The new Avengers.
Yeah, you feel me? So yeah, because she did peep that. Like she peeped how all everybody was clapping for him, and they looking around like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and she didn't want to get them hands because
right.
So
and
in the same room, they band together. Like you said, they overcome all of these obstacles, everything trying to keep them away. Um, we get Bob like fighting, right? The
Yeah,
voice, right? And that's like we already know what that is. That's a battle within itself, which everybody goes through. I feel like everybody, we could be at peace, we could be content, and confident in everything, but I do feel like we all got some struggle within us. You feel me? Maybe not or whatever, but I really do believe we all have some type of struggle that, you know.
and fun fact. Now, and when you're writing stories, right? There's
yeah,
really three kind of um, battles that you can have. You got man versus nature,
Hmm.
uh, man versus enemy, and man versus self. Now, Marvel never really went into that one until this movie.
Until this,
The battle within yourself. So kind of like that they touched on that right there. I was like, all right, it's a different,
yeah.
you know.
We got something new out of this one. We got something new out of this one.
So
so
what y'all? So I think anything we missed? Anything you
you know,
want?
Yeah,
Dave
I
Bob.
think
Oh, go ahead.
the shit we missed on why the fuck the Taskmaster had to die so fast.
Oh, you right, man. I
That's
was actually thinking this has. Why they have to kill Earl, old girl off so quick, man?
shock value thing that I can think of.
Damn.
That's the
But
only thing I think of. Maybe something behind the screens. Maybe she had other obligations behind the scenes or whatever. But if not, I mean, shock value.
Now, like you say, shock value. So the Taskmaster OG, the Taskmaster debuted back in 1980, Avengers issue
Really,
175. Yep.
175. All right.
Uh,
fun.
But the Doomsday is going to reset everything, so we might see Taskmaster come back. You know what I'm saying?
She's surviving,
Taskmaster debuted.
right?
Also, you saying they gonna go back?
Man, it could be a possibility. Might see it
Fun fact
again.
about Taskmaster from the comics, he actually avoids and does not like fighting Deadpool at all because Deadpool is unpredictable in his fights.
Mm,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Man. So all right. So I think we dove deep into this joint right here. Um what would y'all give this movie 1 out of 5 popcorn bags? Where you at with it, Ma?
Shit, I'm gonna get it John a 3.8.
3.8 popcorn bags? All right.
Yeah.
What you got, John?
I give it about a 3.8 as well. Probably about the same thing. Yep.
All right. What you got, Wes? How many popcorn bags out of 5?
3.5. 3.5.
5.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm gonna have to go with a 4, man. Four popcorn bags, man. I was digging this joint.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it didn't drag. Had a lot of good moments. It was funny. A lot of action. Very. I mean, I like the story, man. I like where they're going with it. So, it's a
Yeah.
solid movie.
you
Solid
know what?
movie.
I'm
It
sold,
was.
man. I was up to a 4-2. I'm sold.
My
You're right.
biggest thing was it was a good movie overall. My biggest thing was they had rushed a lot of things, and I understand why time constraints and
Yeah.
I would
whatnot.
say
But at the same time, a lot of things was rushed.
why why I gave it that so poor rating is because, like I said before, I was with the movie. I was with the movie halfway through. I was like the middle part of the movie. I say like uh where they got to fighting Century, and they went to the Dark Shadow. I got to right there, and I was with the movie. That part right there, it kind of like we saying, it kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, and I got lost in the movie right there. I got lost,
I got you.
and I kind of fell off a
Okay.
little bit of the movie right there a little bit.
My
Okay.
my overall thoughts of the movie was I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think it was the best thing that Marvel dropped since No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. Um, it to me, it had a similar throwback vibe to like maybe an Age of Ultron type phase and stuff like that, like with the quips, the comedy, right? We got Red Guardian with his bullshit. We had you know Walker being an asshole. We had Yelena just sick of her pops throughout the whole movie. We got just being Bob, right? Then we got Bucky that's just tired of all of this shit. Like so a lot of elements of comedy in there that I really appreciated. As
Mhm.
far as characters, I think a lot of them was fleshed out very well. Obviously we could have used more, but for what we got, I got a lot of insight about Bob, Elena, John Walker, even Red Guardian. Like I said, they touched on that mental health and depression and stuff like that. I wish we could have got. I didn't really need too much out of Bucky. Bucky was great. Bucky plays that veteran leader, the headstrong guy, whatever the case may be. Is I rock with that. Like we already touched on, we didn't really get too much out of Ghost, but I did watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I actually did enjoy that movie, so I know enough about Ghost to where I feel like she played her part in it. You get what I'm saying? For people
Mhm.
who don't know Ghost, they probably like, well, fuck her. You feel me? But
Right?
I already
Yeah.
know Ghost. I know where she come from. Could we have gotten a little bit more? Yeah, but I feel like she played her part.
Yeah.
Overall, we already talked heavily on this. I really like the fact that MCU didn't state it, but it's really like they pretty much brought mental health awareness in this movie. I like how they did that. We
Mhm.
already on that, and for the most part, and I love the end credits. You feel me? And fun fact, end
Mhm.
credits scene. One of the
Yeah.
end
Hilarious. It's funny. It's
it's
funny
very
as hell.
hilarious. You got them chilling, right? Red Guardian coming in with all of his endorsements, being exactly who he would
Mhm.
do that. You get what I'm saying? He got all the endorsements, and he trying to put everybody else on too. You feel me? Because he's for the team, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, they talking about the Sam and his Captain America. He talking about y'all not the Avengers, we the Avengers, because old girl introduced him as the new Avengers. That's what the thing was about, right?
Mhm.
So now they talking about lawsuits and stuff like that. You got Bob chilling with his milkshake. You feel me?
He just in his own world. He like, look, man, I do what y'all
So,
do.
and
Just
then
chill.
we get the scene where they see the Fantastic Four.
Mm.
You feel me? I just like how it was like we could fly up there on Bob and all that, and Bob like, nah, I really can't do that without risking turning into the void. You feel me? So I can't do that, but I did do the dishes though. Like, Bob,
uh,
wait, you know
I
what I'm
love
saying?
that.
I like how they got him there. You feel me? Like he a part of the team, he the family, but at the same time, they making sure the void don't come back. You feel me? They holding him down, yo. That's cool. You feel me?
They probably gonna use him in like emergency situations, you know.
I think he's gonna play a huge part in
Mhm.
doing, whether it's as the void, whether it's as Sentry or both. But
Exactly.
definitely, Fantastic Four introduction in the you know, into the scene.
Oh man, I like it, but I'm not too excited about Fantastic Four based on the trailers and all the news articles and the test screenings. But
I'm gonna
that's
give it a
gonna be
chance.
another episode.
Give it a chance. You feel me? I like the way they look. They
Shit,
look
man.
yeah,
Shit, John and Wayne. I guess we gonna have to do it without Gary then.
huh? Oh, we gonna have to do it without Gary.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch it for the episode, but
Yeah,
I'll give it a chance. I'll say that. I'll try.
That's all we can ask. I'm actually excited for it. I want to see how it goes. Like I said, I like the aesthetic so far. It's a timepiece, like a time era two film, I think, right?
Mhm. And it's another universe, different universe.
Different different
Mhm.
universe. So I'm digging it. And they look the closest to the Fantastic Four than any other cast in cinema history with the Fantastic Four. So
That's a fact.
I'm cool. I'm gonna give it a chance.
All right. So this is gonna be episode 2. Think we gave it a good score. We digging this movie.
yeah,
Yes.
Um, episode 3, look out for that. We're gonna cover Sinners from
Oh,
Ryan Coogler. We're gonna
oh
cover
yeah,
that joint. So look out for that.